Jacob, where does Dr. go? Soccer? Right there. Yes. You have new ones? Maybe. I don't know. Right.
That's fair. I can hear volume panel.
Oh, I need a pencil. Sorry, Austin.
I was the one walking through.
Yeah. Oh, I think no one heard that. Just got that. That's torturous. So let's yes, you're right here. Thank you.
I call to order the December 3rd meeting of the Student Government Association. We are live streamed and recording. Please review your agendas while Jacob does roll call.
Nicholas Colombo. Here. Anderson Dallaire. Here. Isabella Moniz.
Here.
William Connor.
Here.
Samantha Dyer.
Here.
Aviana Lee Salters. Travis McLaughlin.
Here.
Rachel Liu.
Here.
Stella Greenberg.
Here.
Aiden Luciano.
Here.
Thomas McLaughlin. Jacob Trainer.
Here.
Sophia Rubincheck. Melissa Kuzmeski. Raymond Croto.
Here.
Ben James.
Here.
Cody Hoisington.
Here.
Barney Garcia.
Here.
SAC Representative.
Here.
Ali Sutherland.
Here.
Brendan Major.
Here.
Cecilia Campbell. Troyo Nosal.
Here.
Angelina Casella.
Here.
Laura Terry.
Here.
Will Honorado. Marissa Montero.
Here.
Andrew Bethay.
Here.
Christopher Lannon.
Here.
Irini Mahida.
Here.
Ezekiel Tamarkin.
Here.
Dominic Zyko.
Here.
Akila Fakos.
Here.
Peru Sharma.
Here.
Ethan Mollinson.
Here.
Benny Rosas.
Here. Are there any corrections to the minutes from November 19th? Seeing none, all those in favor to approve the minutes from November 19th?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And now your presence report, Joseph Bonilla.
Good evening, Senate. Thank you all for joining us this evening on our first meeting back since Thanksgiving break. Woo-hoo. I hope that everyone enjoyed their time off and are feeling recharged as we head into the final stretch of the semester. Your dedication and energy are deeply appreciated, and I'm confident we're going to all finish strong together. Tonight's meeting will be one of the quicker ones, as there is no guest speaker scheduled. However, before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to express the gratitude of our executive council. As a small token of appreciation for your continued commitment to the student body and your exemplary leadership, we have written each of you personal notes and provided pies for everyone to enjoy. We're going to motion for recess later. Great. Some of these pies include blueberry, cherry, pumpkin, apple, strawberry cream, lemon, and for those of you who have dietary restrictions or are allergic to peanut/tree nuts, we have cupcakes, so please help yourselves to those treats and know that they are given with a heartfelt thank you for your job well done. I have a couple of announcements. So we are excited to announce that our SGA retreat, we will be having an SGA retreat this year, and it will be tentatively scheduled for January 20th. That is Monday, so put it on your calendar. More details to follow, and obviously they will be communicated to you via email from me. And yeah, we're just finalizing some details, so please save the date. Last week, I had a meeting with the Commission on Higher Education. I had the opportunity to meet with them and the Department of Higher Education. We analyzed Massachusetts financial aid programs, explored leading national models, and discussed primary options for our state. We followed open meeting law, so you can either look for it or you can email me if you have any questions about that meeting. A notable highlight of the meeting is that Massachusetts is exploring significant financial aid reforms, which is a promising development for students across the state. And one of the things that I liked that a legislator was mentioning or advocating for was debt-free models, and I think that's great. So hopefully by 2030, we'll have debt-free models for college. An additional announcement, I'm pleased to announce that our State of the Campus address, well, we're going to be having a State of the Campus for the first time in many years, and this will be taking place on January 31st at 2 p.m., so put that on your calendars. More details also to follow. And lastly, Daniel and I will be working with campus partners over the next few weeks to finalize the details of this year's legislative breakfast, where we will host state legislators to discuss deferred maintenance and workforce development issues impacting our campus. The tentative date for this is Friday, February 7th. And I would like to appoint a new senator, Giancarlo Santiago, if you want to stand up. I move to appoint Giancarlo Santiago as a new hall representative for the remainder of the fall 24, spring 25 academic year.
It has been, I think so, fun fact. It has been moved and seconded to appoint Giancarlo Santiago as a new hall representative for the remainder of the fall 24, spring 25 academic year. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on this nomination? Ezekiel Torkin?
Could you tell us more about yourself and who you are and why you want to be a senator?
So I'm Giancarlo Santiago. I am a junior here. I'm an urban and regional planning major. I think SGA is a very good way to develop your soft skills and hard skills, and it's a good resume builder.
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns on this nomination? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Nomination is confirmed. Congratulations.
So as I close up my report, I would like to end you all with a quote of gratitude. You know, our first year class is doing a week of kindness, giving gratitude back to our community members, our friends, our peers. We're sharing things with you all by giving you all sweet treats and some notes. So I'd like to end you all with a quote, as I always do, by William Arthur Ward. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Thank you all for all that you do for our student body, your peers, and this institution. Your leadership is invaluable, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you all.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Joseph Bonilla? Sarah Harrington?
Do you mind repeating the date of the retreat, please?
Yes, so the date of the retreat is tentatively scheduled for Monday, January 20th. We still are deciding on a time, I think tentatively from like 10 to like 4, or 10 to 2, something like that. But we'll reach out with more details. Thanks, Sarah.
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns for Joseph Bonilla? I'm sorry, I don't remember your last name.
Just can you talk about, I know you mentioned speaking with state legislators, if I heard you correctly. You mentioned that they had spoken about debt-free college. What else did they speak about that meeting? Just like.
Yes, so you're talking about, as a point of information, I serve as a public officer on the Governor's Commission for Higher Education Quality and Affordability. On this commission, we discuss strategic things that relate to making higher education more accessible, essentially. And at our last meeting, every meeting has been kind of themed. So our first meeting was more on getting people from falling through the cracks, you know, those peer mentorship models and other things. And we explore what currently exists in the state and then what exists on a national level. And with our last meeting, we focused on financial aid because we recognize that financial aid is a burden for a lot of people who are going into higher education. And, you know, we recognize that with the new free community college model that we have going on in Massachusetts, there has been a lot of enrollment. However, what does that mean for four-year colleges and what does that mean for continued education? And we're exploring what other best practices exist on a national level, including New York. I think Minnesota has a really good model for the public institution area, and other states that have leading standards that have been recognized to be able to further develop and make recommendations to the governor's office and the Secretary of Education, the Department of Higher Education, to make a more sustainable and practical model that really fits the needs of the students of tomorrow. And with what you were saying, some legislators include Senator Comerford, Rep. Kelly Pease, there's quite a couple of people on there. I forget who mentioned it, but someone did mention a debt-free model that has been like pushed, like the idea of it, like maybe the question is, so everyone wants free college, I think. In that room, I think everyone wants to figure out how it works. Obviously, like it may not work right now, but maybe we should develop a model that does work. And I think that with that, the ambition is how do we develop our state in a way that has policies and practices that better support more integration into education without the financial barrier. And I think that that's something that a lot of people are trying to explore with this mission.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Travis McLaughlin.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi,
January
Travis.
20th, what you said?
January 20th.
Is it Monday? I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I believe that's MLK Junior Day, which will also make it move in days.
Okay.
Might be
Yeah,
awareness in the place.
I appreciate that feedback. We're definitely playing around with things. So it's a tentative date. So we will be communicating at large with like what works based off of the, what you guys share and also what we think works best. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Christopher Lamb.
Hi, Joseph, thank you for your report. Hold on, I have it written down somewhere.
Of course.
I wanted to ask about Cornhole for a Cause. That was not, I believe, not an event that happened this semester. It usually happens, for those who don't know, it usually happens in the fall semester around October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Public Safety. They had their Suffolk Cruiser today. They usually put on Cornhole for a Cause to raise money for breast cancer awareness. It was an initiative that the last few years at SGA, we would often go as a Senate to support. I just wanted to ask, was there a reason that didn't happen this year? Because I feel like a lot of people really loved that event and thought it was a great chance to build community. And is there a reason?
Thank you for your question, Chris. I think while I appreciate that inquiry, I don't think that's a question that necessarily has an answer. While the Student Government Association typically, as individuals, end up at the Cornhole event, it's not something that we, I know of, that we typically traditionally register for. And to that extent, we've had different visions and different goals for this year, and we've been planning a whole bunch of things that we haven't done in previous years. Dan, you have a point of
Yeah,
view?
point of information we actually do. So for the past couple of years, we register teams, and we actually get money for it. So it's a good question. Just I think it'll be more directed to public safety as to why.
Justin Holt.
Just point of information. I can reach out to Tony for you and see if there's an answer to that. If you still want it.
Dana Courier.
Yeah, just to note, like, I agree, like, the debt-free college, that's great. The only thing I'm concerned about, and this is where the legislative experts comes in, is that if have all this money to pay for debt-free college, why isn't that being put into the buildings right now? Because, basically students would be not paying for a subpar product, buildings that are falling apart. So it's really just kicking a can down the road rather than, and also just, it's a premium, experience, going to college and, I have concerns with that, so that was what I was saying.
I absolutely appreciate your comment, Dan. I think that it's definitely important to hear from the consumer, which are the students. I will iterate that there is not currently money to pay for debt-free college. It's just an idea that we're exploring. However, I will definitely bring that up at the next commission meeting in January. And to Chris's point, I think that for future reference, I think it might be more beneficial and productive to bring up that sort of feedback prior to the event, so we make sure that those things don't fall through the cracks. So I appreciate you bringing it up. Any other questions?
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns for Joseph O'Neill? Seeing none, thank you, Joseph.
Thank you. And now for your Board of Trustees report, Daniel Courier. Oh, there was a question?
I motion for a 5-minute debate to, and everyone.
Recess.
Restart, sorry, excuse me, my apologies. I motion for a 5-minute recess.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Jason Brewster?
Where, as Joseph previously mentioned, we have done some handwritten letters for our senators, and we would like to hand them out to them. And enterprise.
Yeah, sweet dreams. Any other discussion points on this motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 5-minute recess begins now. We will return at 5:48.
Come see your team huddle person and then get up high.
Dan, I didn't write you a thank you.
Oh, you're good.
Thank you.
Dominic. Go. Barney. Yep.
Five-minute recess is over. And now for your Board of Trustees report, Daniel Career.
There we go. All right, good evening, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving break. The Financial Affairs Committee of the Board of Trustees met yesterday at 3 o'clock via Zoom, ahead of our full day of meetings next Monday, December 9th. There are 4 major items I'd like to discuss with you today. First, the Financial Affairs Committee has voted to dissolve the Investment Subcommittee. Given that the membership of the subcommittee is nearly identical to the membership of the full Financial Affairs Committee, and since we have had an investment portfolio now for about 5 years, we believe that dissolving the subcommittee will bring about greater efficiency. Second, the Financial Affairs Committee unanimously approved a revised fiscal year 2025 budget. As you may recall, we conditionally approved the university's budget in October, while calling upon the Division of Administration and Finance to make adjustments that manifest a more accurate budget projection, particularly around rollover spending. Estimated expenses for the fiscal year are about $132 million. Third, we authorized the administration to borrow $4.4 million through the MSCBA to renovate the apartment complex here on campus. For the seniors here in the room, you may recall that during the winter of 2022, a pipe burst in one of the halls, forcing students to vacate their apartment and move into Welch Hall for the remainder of the semester. Welch Hall was thankfully vacant at that time to serve as quarantine housing. The plumbing is original to the building, or to each of the apartment buildings. It needs to be replaced in order to prevent any future issues. Additionally, the university will be looking to renovate the emergency stairwells, hot water heating pumps, and apartment heating zone controls. Renovations will occur over a 12-month period, but one hall will be taken down at a time. According to facilities, Welch Hall will be renovated in the summer of 2025, followed by each other semester. This renovation is necessary to keep the apartment complex in good condition. Finally, the Financial Affairs Committee received a facilities and capital planning update, which was timely given yesterday's news that the Horace Mann Center was closed due to lack of heating. Systems across our campus are failing left and right, yet the state is providing little to no support to address this, all while providing unfunded mandates to decarbonize the campus. Currently, deferred maintenance is estimated $150 million, as you note is above our operating budget for the year. And efforts to achieve net zero for the campus by 2050 will cost an estimated $542 million. Projects that require our attention include a full renovation of Bates Hall, a full renovation of Wilson Hall, updates to the water, steam, and electrical systems, an elevator in Dower, and a full replacement of our HVAC equipment. Joseph and I continue to work in the legislative breakfast, which, as mentioned earlier, will be held on Friday, February 7th, to convince lawmakers that funding deferred maintenance is critical. More details will follow. The Board of Trustees will be meeting for a full day next Monday, December 9th. Meetings are scheduled as follows, and will be also sent to your email. 9:15 to 9:30 is our Governance and Nomination Committee. 9:30 to 10:30 is the Academic Affairs Committee. 10:45 to 11:15 is the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. 11:15 to 12:15 is the Advancement Marketing and External Relations Committee. 1 to 2 is the Enrollment Management and Student Affairs Committee. 2:30 to 3:30 is the Audit Committee, and 3:45 to 5 is the full board meeting. All of these meetings will take place in the Loman Living Room in Scanlon Hall and will be live streamed at westfield.ma.edu/live. I encourage everyone to watch our proceedings, particularly those who may be interested in my role in the future. Following the meeting, trustees will attend the annual holiday reception and a performance by the Irish Tenors. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Daniel Career? Austin Morgan?
Hi, Dan. What are the exact dates? So Welch is being closed this upcoming summer.
Correct.
Then, I'm assuming Seymour following in the fall of 2025.
I believe it's common.
And then winter break would be the.
So no, it would be spring break. So it was spring semester, I mean. So it's going to take a few months for each one. So that means that students will have to move from one hall to another. But what I will note is that this is better than having them all knocked down at once. We are trying to make sure that these buildings can last for another good amount of time.
Thank you.
Christopher Lannon?
Hi, Dan. I'm just going to give a point of information, and I was going to put this at the end during announcements, but I implore every single one of you to fill out the campus master plan survey. Some of these projects that, Bates Hall needing to be renovated, Dower needing an elevator, are things that the campus master plan survey you can utilize in there. And I encourage you all to connect with your constituents and tell them to do the same. This is one of the most important things we can do to leave our mark on Westfield State every 10 years.
Sure, we just don't want it to be another book on a shelf. The issue is that a lot of the times what will happen is it goes into the shelf and then nothing gets done in terms of there being funding for it. So that's why we had a legislative breakfast to try to get funding for stuff like this.
Thank you, Chris. Isabella Moniz?
Hi, thank you. So we're gonna have students moving throughout the semesters from
Yeah.
one building to another.
That's my understanding. I don't know if John or Maggie maybe want to speak to it.
Yeah, I can give a little bit of information. Details are still being worked out, so we don't have the details up there. It is going to be something that we are planning on having it be at least impactful. Those who may be impacted we want, but trying to make sure that we have the housing energy out there. So we can both in, because the other option is to close them all and do all the work we don't want to do. So it would be when people are selecting, having them fully understand if they're selecting, this is what's going to be in this. We're not trying to do that. You take it when I tell you, it's going to be very clear what's going to happen for selection. So we'll have the details we put out there, but it will be a, if you get here, here's what you need to expect if you're going to all.
Okay, thank you so
And
much.
we're gonna try to make the rooms open, so we have the spaces, so if you pick into that area, you're not gonna be in, apartment complexes in the fall, but in Dickinson in the spring kind of thing, you're gonna have space for that one. We will have it all kind of planned out, piece-wise,
Readdress?
How is this going to affect graduate housing?
We're looking into that. I think part of it is by doing Welch, first is going to try to impact the leads out there, because that's a different kind of unique population for that one. So we're doing that one in the summertime to try to make it easier, so when it comes for the fall, we're getting some of those places in there, and we're going to try to work that. So we're going to still have graduate housing out there, and we're going to actually be working on that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. Thank you, John. Sarah Harrington?
There's been quite a few projects that we've done at Westfield that have led to taking a lot longer than expected. So having this set timeline of 3 months for each building having a set deadline where people are also moving their living space or coming into their living space from the summer. We just need to stress the importance of meeting those deadlines, because we haven't in the past, and if it's affecting the residential's life of students on campus, that's really something that needs to be emphasized.
I know that they will try to get it done as soon as possible in order to have the least impact to students as possible.
Sean?
We've been meeting for months now, and we're actually having project meetings now. That's always been something on the forefront of it out there. Going forward with this, before we even get approval, we stress that these are our popular buildings. We understand we need to get them done. We would love to get them done sooner. We did some work over the summertime. We did some of the stacks out there, so they have a sense of some work requirement out there. So they're using that plus these dates out there to try to have the most, I think. And honestly, they might actually have more time than they need, but they really are very much focused on knowing that we need to be working on a regular basis. So we're going off semester they go wide out there and go differently out there. We'll have some time to think off that one, but that has definitely been a factor too, of making sure we are trying to impact the students as least possible. We'll also try to give how we
Thank you, John. In the interest of time, we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. You have a readdress?
No, it's a different question.
Okay. Have Zeke on with you and then Zeke, Ezekiel Tamarkin?
Just to give us a better idea of how this time frame may play out, what are some things that could go wrong that might extend it past 3 months? Just to give us an idea.
I would say I'm not qualified to answer that question. I think things could happen out there, but they're professionals. They know what they're doing. It's working with our facilities department too, who is also very much on the making sure they're doing what they need to do. So if there's a bigger issue they don't see, that's why they're putting that time in there. Some of these are simple, it's very quick. If there's more involved, it'll be longer. That's why they're actually giving that time in there.
Thank you, John. And for our last question, Angel Bethea?
Okay, readdress.
I'm sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
To phrase it in a different way then, if everything goes right, I imagine it would be accomplished before the 3-month deadline. What would that deadline look like?
I would say, right behind is we'll keep our semesterly moving, keeping it like those chunks of moving people. The goal would be not to interrupt people like midstream saying, we're in October, you're moving now. The plan would still be to have it not impact students at the first house. We're gonna have more information as we have these meetings out there. We just got the approval for funding, so now we're gonna be handling, what all that looks like. We're still in the early process. But we're hopefully trying to impact students as much as possible.
Thank you, John. And just as a reminder for everyone, if you have any further questions or would like to get more clarity on these matters, Justin does meet with Residential Life very frequently, so you feel free to use him as a resource or email Res Life directly. Thank you, Dan. And now for the Student Advisory Council report, Daniel Courier.
The Student Advisory Council met on Tuesday, November 19th via Zoom to discuss pertinent campus issues, including deferred maintenance, and undergo a comprehensive media training. We also elected our parliamentarian and vice chair. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 9th at 4:30 p.m. via Zoom. Should you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Dan. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Daniel Courier? Seeing none, thank you, Dan. And now for your Vice President's report of Student Life, Justin Wald.
I hope you all enjoyed the pies or do later tonight. I just want you guys to know Austin and I were judged heavily by the people behind us in line after we bought 52 of them. It was a fun trip. I just have a quick few updates from Res Life as well as some announcements. Interviews for the open mid-year RA positions are underway and they should be finished this week with new hires starting during the winter training before the start of the next semester. The position for RD of University Hall should be posted later today, or it's already posted?
Yeah.
Awesome, so it's already posted, so that means hopefully we can get somebody hired before the start of the next semester. But in the interim, Kayla Schlenz, the Assistant Director of Residential Life, is supporting University Hall's students and RAs. Now, a new system or a new way of doing things for the winter break housing is being rolled out this year. With housing insecure students, students with on-campus jobs like admissions ambassadors, and students with winter classes being approved, while students with off-campus jobs may not be approved for the winter, or will not be approved, John? They will not at all be approved for winter break housing due to these new changes. So you can share that with your friends or people who may be looking to apply for the winter break housing, just so they don't get any harsh news. And then finally, some events, so some fun stuff. Tomorrow night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Residential Life is hosting the consent crawl between the Davis Diner, the Courtney Cafe, and the Lammers Hall Colors of Consent. These are all consent-themed events planned like a campus crawl from building to building to participate in interactive activities, enjoy some nice food and drinks while learning about consent.
Thank you, Justin. Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Justin Wald? Ethan Hayes?
Hi, Justin. Just as a point of information, after 2 weeks ago, Chris did come down and speak to us a little bit, and she did touch on the winter break housing. I reached out to her with a few points of concern from my end. She did mention that there was an appeals process if you were denied winter housing. I believe that goes to you, Maggie, if I remember right. But that's just the email that I got from Chris. But I just want to make sure that everyone was aware that there is an appeals process if you are denied or if any of your constituents are denied that winter housing.
They aren't monsters, so it's not like they're doing this to hurt anybody.
Thank you, Ethan. Brendan Major?
Hi, Justin. Thank you for your actual information, really. But quick question. Just checking, the actual time for the crawl is what time tomorrow?
Tomorrow night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Davis Hall, Courtney Hall, and Lammers Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Any further? Seeing none, thank you, Justin. And now for the Dining Services Committee report, Christopher Lamb.
Good evening, Senate. The Dining Services Committee met on November 22nd in the Socola Room adjacent to the Bistro to discuss a multitude of topics in what would be our second to last meeting of the semester. First, we discussed ice cream in the Bistro, and Melissa noted that they had reached out to Matt and he would get back to her on that. Second, we moved on to the dining survey results. We had a grand total of 413 students fill out the dining survey for the semester. A very appropriate number for Western Mass. Dining will be coming down next week, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay. To discuss the results of the survey in a more simplified format. But if you wish to see the initial packet they showed to us, I can provide that to you with my personal copy tomorrow, probably. And the biggest change students noticed is the quality of food. To share that with you, the biggest Okay, that's the wrong one. The biggest change students notice is the quality in food rising since last semester. Some responses that were shared is that it is the best it has been. In the 3 or 4 years some upperclassmen have been here. Okay, thank you. Melissa recognized that it starts with leadership and that we recognize the unconventional approach she has taken to being the dining director in this role and how it's paid off tremendously. I brought up how the variety of food is increasing on students' plates. This was a very good thing for me to hear, as one of the things I ran on in my first campaign for Rep at Large back in my freshman year was advocating for expanding the representation of the global station to include not just Western European countries, but vastly different foods from Africa, Asia, and South America that represents all cultures, and that is something that Melissa has taken on the big task in doing. This comes from the perspective of the DC's executive chef, the chef's willingness to continue ideas, to take ideas, I can't speak, from all chefs on what they think the students would like best, something that a lot of chefs, executive chefs in restaurants in real life don't really do that often. While there were some negative comments received in the survey, the committee noted how every negative comment is helpful in improving the student experience and improving for the spring semester. On to the bistro and sushi. Bistro is set to have toppings for milkshakes during the day and late night coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And to note, as soon as Jacob's endorsement of the Owl Cafe sushi was posted, the sushi was gone within 2 days. So I think Jacob's endorsement was well received by the student population. As well, word of mouth spread about it. Next, we talked about the craft fair, which is actually being held tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 2. And this year, the dining staff wants to have a bigger focus on student vendors, which Maria told me today in our class council meeting that there would be a much bigger focus on student vendors rather than outside vendors like there was last year for those who were there. So as it is tomorrow, we hope to see a lot of student representation. If you can go and support your fellow students, please do. And Thursday, there will be a huge holiday meal, and Melissa recognized how some lessons that the staff learned from the Thanksgiving dinner that was held last Thursday will be implemented for this dinner. This includes keeping the servers out until 8 and allowing more time for late night to get set up after the big meal. On the same note, the Thanksgiving dinner was a massive success and saw the most student engagement in the DC at one time all year. I think Maria told me as well, correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, today in class council, she told me it was the most engagement at a Thanksgiving dinner since 2019.
Something like that.
So that was good. At the holiday dinner, there will be a build-your-own charcuterie board and lots of desserts and mashed potatoes. Just to name a few, she really emphasized the mashed potatoes, but the rest are surprises. We also briefly discussed having a showing of the DC kitchen to show the inner workings of the kitchen to students by offering tours during dining services meetings or scheduled visits. With that, I was thrilled to see that the DC took on their own initiative in making an in-depth Instagram reel on Monday, November 25th. To showcase the back rooms of the kitchen along with the cleanliness, the inner workings, as well as how friendly staff are. I can firmly say as someone who used to work in social media for the DC last fall that the kitchens is just as clean as it was then and the staff are still super friendly. Finally, it's important to note how we discussed a preliminary idea where we would eliminate some underused meal plans, and each meal plan would retain its value from this year to the 25-26 academic year. There are currently 9 meal plans in circulation, all of which have varying numbers of students on each meal plan. And we talked like some of the plus plans, like the Nesters Plus, the Gold Blue 15 Plus would be eliminated due to lack of enrollment in those meal plans by some students. But I'd like to get everyone's feedback. If you're one of those students that has one of those meal plans, please speak up and share your feedback. Honestly, on a more personal note, I write to inform you that this will be my last dining services report for a while. I have submitted my resignation to the committee effective December 13th, as I will be doing pre-practicum work that will have me off campus next semester, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It has been an honor to serve on this committee, as it has been a committee that I have felt has valued my opinion, and I've seen a lot of change come from this committee. With this, there will be an open seat on the committee, and as the committee's most outspoken member, as they told me. I challenge you, if you have strong beliefs about dining and want to see implemental change, please join the committee. I think it's been a great committee. It's been so beneficial. So yeah, if you would like any information on the committee and are interested in joining, please see either Jacob or Justin or email them at execsec.sga@westfield.ma.edu or vpstudentlife@sg.sga@westfield.ma.edu. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you, Christopher. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Christopher Lanham? Daniel Courier?
Hi, Chris. So you did mention variety. I will say the food has been pretty good this semester. I think all the upperclassmen here can agree. My one concern that has come to me is the amount of pork in the DC. It's just been just too much. It just there's the same issue with fish in prior years. Can we just change up the meats a little bit? Trying to get this is more of a strategic issue menu-wise, but you just need to change things up a little bit.
Thank you, Dan. Sarah Harrington?
Can you explain to me like the purpose for getting rid of meal plans that aren't being like fully utilized by a large group of students? Like, is it costing the university money?
I believe Jacob can provide.
Point of information. So is they're taking the normal and the plus and they're kind of combining them, but meeting it at the middle and keeping it at the same price as the original. That's what
Only
it's
showing
doing.
the plans that they're.
So like blue and blue plus, that's meeting in the middle, like say it's $400 dining and 200 is meeting for 300 kind of thing.
Angel Bethea?
Could you describe which meal plans those are again? Like how many meal swipes you get, how many dining
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Can you describe how many dining are in that, how many meal swipes? I don't know which plans.
So yeah, the blue, for example, the blue 15 plus is 15 meal swipes a week. Plus just has more dining dollars, and the Nesters plan is the same. It's unlimited meal swipes, but the plus has more dining dollars. So I believe for the regular Nesters unlimited plan, which is I had my freshman year, it was $250 dining dollars. I'm pretty sure that's still the same.
Yes.
Okay. And the blue 15 is 300, and then the plus I think is $350 dining dollars.
There's point of information as well. It's all listed online. So I would encourage you, because it might be, it's a lot of information. So I would encourage everyone to just go on the dining website because they have all the meal plans listed.
Thank you, Dan. In the interest of time, we have time for one or two more questions. Are there any further? Justin Wald?
Just a point of information. If you guys have any questions or anything you want clarified, I'm going to set up a meeting with Melissa since I missed the last dining meeting, just to go one-on-one with her and talk about the changes. So if you have any questions, let me know and then I'll bring you guys the information.
Ezekiel Tamarkin? Thank you, Justin.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I have a second point of information. For the ice cream, it was, we talked about dairy-free ice cream in the bistro. Yeah.
Thank you. Ezekiel Tamarkin?
When are these changes expected to be made for the plus plans? And for people who have a plus plan, will this affect their upcoming semester?
Yeah, so thank you. So for the meal swipe, the meal plan that you buy is for the year, the academic year. So when you say, I have the gold 160, that's a 160 swipe per semester. I have 50 something dining dollars left. Those dining dollars will carry over to the next semester and I will get an additional $500 dining dollars. This is just an example. But also your meal swipes reset. So if you have the 15, I don't know what meal plan you have, but the 15, you'll have 15 meal swipes a week. And that will go away at the end of Saturday, and then Sunday it will regain the 15 meal swipes. But to answer your question, the meal plans are for the academic year. You just pay half each semester. So it will go into effect if it does in the fall. But we will obviously let you know before.
Thank you. Dan, did you have a point of
Yeah, this point of
information?
information is not going to affect you, but it's fine. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, moving on. Thank you, Chris. Now for your Vice President's report of academic life, Sarah Harrington.
Okay, I'm going off the cuff. I had the first half of my event today where I went around and I gave out packets including campus resources, 2 weekly planners, and then like meditations, exercise thing, and then like the little thing to color in for relaxation, and then one of those goodie bags. And then if you want to get some yourselves, you can find me on Thursday from 9:30 to 11. I'll be walking around campus. I don't really have a designated place. I've just been frolicking. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Sarah Harrington? Congrats. Great. Moving on, Parking Appeals Board, William Connor.
What's crack-a-lacking at SGA? Parking appeal met on Thursday, November 21st, to appeal tickets. There has been some confusion in years past about parking appeals that I would love to clear up now. When you get a ticket, you fill out the link on the slip or the email. You don't come to me directly for two reasons. One, I can't do anything about it until it goes through the process. And two, I don't really care if you get a ticket. Also, the tickets come to us anonymously, so you telling me doesn't do anything. Anyways, we're working diligently with Josh Hetrick to appeal as many tickets as soon as possible. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for William Connor? Seeing none, thank you. Parking Control Board, Christopher Lannon. Oh, you had something, Sarah? Oh, okay. Christopher Lannon.
You can't get rid of me that fast. Good evening, Senate. The Parking Control Board met on Thursday, November 21st in Scanlon Hall to discuss a multitude of topics. This was our first meeting of the year, the semester. So we went over a few basic line items and discussed the expectations of the committee. The committee is chaired by Parking Clerk Joshua Hetrick and Captain Chief of Police Michael Foyle, and they serve as non-voting members of the committee. The SGA representatives on the committee are myself, Rep at Large Zeke Markin, and Newhall Rep Angela Bethea, with one NPC remaining. So if anyone wants to join, we have an NPC. Also on the committee are facilities representatives Mark St. Sabor and Carolyn Keeley in the sociology department. First, we discussed the issues surrounding visitor parking passes. I won't go into too much detail as we had a lengthy discussion on this topic and ultimately decided to table this in order to bring it to you all tonight for a thoughtful and engaging conversation. Please save your feedback on the specific topic around parking visitor passes for later in the meeting, as we will be opening new business to discuss this resolution, SGA Resolution FY 25-008, and sending a vote to either recommend or reject the endorsements submitted by the committee. Secondly, we discussed whether or not graduate assistants that work in various departments should be allowed to park in faculty staff spots during their shifts. Grad assistants are students, and they work in different departments across campus. They work in every building that conducts business. And they are about the closest population of students that are considered faculty. The committee brought up some good points on how having them park in South Lot will potentially make grad assistants late for work. And if grad assistants work in Horace Mann, they would have to either park in a commuter or visitor spot in Woodward and make the hike to Horace Mann. Myself and Zeke asked for the concerns that could arise if we, as a committee, voted to deny grad assistants the ability to park in faculty staff spots during their scheduled work shifts. And the committee did not provide really a clear enough feedback in regards to this issue. So therefore, we voted unanimously to approve allowing grad students to park in faculty staff spaces during their shift, I should add. While this meeting was lengthy, I will try to keep the rest of our topics simply worded. In short, we went over the number of parking tickets that has been issued this semester. I requested this data and to be shared by Joshua to SGA, and it's my hope that once Joseph has it, he will send it out. There have been 2,930 parking tickets issued this semester as of November 21st, and only 1,822 of those tickets have been issued to vehicles either once or multiple times without any parking permit. Zeke asked how he wishes that the information regarding using financial aid for parking passes would be more available to students. Joshua shared that he is working on that and plans to have more information available for the purchase of parking passes this summer in time for the fall of 2025 semester. And I stated that this would be very beneficial to students, especially those who can't afford a parking pass. That's irrelevant. I also brought up during new business that similar to Residential Life Sky Factor survey, I believe it would be beneficial to the parking department, facilities management to institute not a raffle, but like a lottery for parking passes for commuter lot. Thank you. This would only be for commuter spaces. This would not be for faculty staff spaces, and they could park in the commuter lot. However, this idea was shot down as I didn't have all the necessary information to present it to them, but I believe that it would also cause a lot of problems. But if you have any suggestions on how we could go about a parking lottery system, kind of how Residential Life gives out the fast pass once a semester, once a year to every to one student in every grade, that would be great. Finally, I want to remind you all that we will be opening new business tonight about visitor parking passes. And yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions, comments, concerns, Christopher Ladd? Justin Wald?
What is the lottery system for the commuter passes?
So it would be similar to lottery's a term that I struggle to figure out holistically what it would mean, but similar to how Residential Life does the Sky Factor survey, we sent out a parking survey, and some prizes and initiatives to take that survey would include parking in the commuter spots for parking pass, in commuter spots or free parking pass. This was shot down. I didn't have all the information I need to present it thoroughly, so it's not gonna happen unless anyone else has a point of information that they can better the idea on.
Just as a point of information, we're not doing the lottery system at this time. It was an idea posed, but will not be done as there's still discussion going on.
Thank you, Ezekiel. Daniel Courier?
I'm gonna recommend against it. Commuters can't find parking as is. So let's just be mindful of that. We need to just think about commuters.
Rachel Liu, I'm sorry.
What are the fast passes?
So for housing, last year I believe John, last year was the first time they did this. So the housing fast pass is, if you fill out, it's like the grand prize for the Residential Life survey. John, if I missed anything, please chime in. One person from each class would get a fast pass. They would pick their housing first before anyone in their grade. So, it basically speaks for itself. If John has any other information about it.
You're not, right, it basically gave you a selection during your class year.
Thank you.
Samantha Dyer?
I just had a question, like last semester, there was kind of like a South Lot Plus option, and like that was really good for people who like had to leave campus like really early in the morning before daylight savings. It's very dark. Some nursing majors, I'm a nursing major, have to like leave at like 6 in the morning, like 5:30 in the morning when it's pitch black in our park in South Lot. When the shuttle's not running, it's easier at night when you're getting back because there's a shuttle. But I was wondering if like there's a way that they can have their car there the night before, but then like leave and I don't know, like.
Do you want to, Sarah?
So me and Joseph met with Josh in the beginning of the semester, and he agreed that South Lot Plus was amazing, but it wasn't used to its full potential. Only about 40, 50 students applied for it, 30 of them got it, and only like 20 picked up their pass to actually utilize it. So it just was kind of being wasted, and then it was like there are students who couldn't apply for it because, for example, I do student teaching. I'm in a part-time placement, but my placement is I go in from 12:30 to 3:30. I can't use it because you had to be out of that parking lot by 8 a.m. So it wasn't a lot. The time constraint, it was because like commuters come at 8 for their classes. It was just not enough students were going to be able to use it, and there's no other option that would allow you to park overnight without taking commuter spots. And then at that point, you're going to have overlap between commuter spots and people who are leaving to go to their placements or whatever.
Just I have a point of information. Sarah for alluding to that. What's it called? So for the exact numbers, 29 people used it. I believe there was 62 or 64 spots available. Unfortunately, the 67 spots are not like a lot, and they were underutilized. So they transitioned into the model that they have this year, like what Sarah alluded to. I think that. It's important to recognize that while that is a need, it was showcased to not be that big of a need after it was advocated for and no one really utilized it. Sarah?
Another thing that they're doing now is main lot parking, which is all seniors who were classified as seniors who live on campus were allowed to have main lot parking. And then I think a couple of juniors got it, but that they had like a certain number, I think it was like 110 or something spots that they knew were going to be utilized by commuters on campus, so they gave them to the seniors because seniors are most likely to have these things where they're going off campus for. So they did prioritize the seniors with them, and then it's also like, well, the seniors have been walking themselves on for 4 years, so they got the priority as well. And then juniors got the.
And to Sarah's point, most seniors were able to utilize it. There were some medical exemptions and such, which is why they added a couple of parking spaces. However, that was the model that they were exploring. It might be changing. If you have a lot of opinions that like regards to that, maybe you might be someone who wants to join this committee. There is an open spot. Thank you, Samantha. Ollie Sutherland.
Hi, good evening. I'm Sutherland. So you had mentioned, if I heard you correctly, about the financial aid, the parking pass being incorporated in that.
Yep.
Can you expand on that if possible? What does that look like, or what are some things to take?
You wanna go?
There's a point of information. Yeah, just 2 points of information. So I'm still getting used to the timing of this, I don't want to be rude. We currently have a system of side lot permits and main lot permits, where main lot permits are allowed to park on campus in designated spots. And the current priority system for that is by seniority. So graduates have first dibs on those as long as they make sure to properly go into the system before a certain date. And then it goes to seniors and then juniors. So for all the graduate students who need to be on campus more often, they just need to make sure to follow the rules that were set out before that certain deadline. Otherwise, if they still miss that deadline, they're still in a running if a spot opens up. And they do still take priority at this time.
So does that answer your question?
So, I was just gonna answer that. So, for those students who have excess financial aid after paying their bill, they can pay the $100 for a yearly parking pass with their financial aid. Does that?
Kind of, so I might have to ask Justin about it.
Yeah, basically, essentially what they're trying to explain is that when your bill is issued to you, your parking pass is now issued as a bill in that way, in such a way that your financial aid can be a line item that can cover the cost of it.
Okay.
So, does that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. Thank you.
And then an additional point of information, I apologize, I did misspeak. We only have 3 spots open on parking control board and they're all full. However, they are open meetings. You're welcome to come there and bring your opinion to the, place.
As a point of information, even if people do not follow the rules, that deadline and making sure to properly get a south lot permit to apply for a main lot permit, if they had applied for financial aid to help them get a permit, they were in the running and were counted as being in the deadline space.
And then just for the interest of time, we have about time for 1 or 2 more questions. I know they have Marita Monteiro on the queue. Go ahead.
It's just a point of information. If you have to leave, if you have to leave your car really early or really late at night, you can call public safety and we'll have a public safety officer pick you up in the shuttle, even though the shuttle's not running. So if it's too dark outside, just call public safety and they'll pick you up.
Thank you, Marita. Is there a last question? Seeing none, thank you, Christopher.
No words.
And now for your Vice President's report of publicity, Elizabeth Mercer.
Break and are rested up for finals. Today I'm reporting on November Senator of the Month. This senator has gone above and beyond in both leadership and being a role model. He has stayed after late counting money for the turkey drive, as well as organizing the drive and ensuring everything went smoothly, which it did. His passion and dedication to his newly elected role doesn't go unnoticed, and we all appreciate all the hard work you have done. Keep on working hard and engaging in the community. And thank you for all your effort and enthusiasm and participation in student government. The Senator of the Month is awarded to, oh my gosh, your mom. Ethan Nelson.
concerns for Elizabeth Mercer?
Just voting.
Congratulations, Ethan. Just as some information for everyone, if you didn't see my team's message, or maybe someone seen the message, I don't know who sent it. We raised $3,015 this year to help the families of Westfield. This is indeed our best year so far. To my understanding, it's our best year so far collecting funds for this, and all it took was every single one of you guys participating in this. So, for next year, hopefully you break 4K. Yeah, thank you. Are there any further questions, comments, concerns for Elizabeth Mercer? Seeing none, thank you, Elizabeth. And now for your Executive Secretary report, Jacob Constant.
Good evening. I hope you all had a great break and you're ready for the final push of the semester. I wanted to briefly talk about the process of reporting. I just want to remind everyone that if you're going to be reporting, please send me a message. Please send a message to Joseph and myself that you will be reporting the week of the Monday before the meeting at 2 p.m. This is to make sure that you get on the agenda for when the email gets sent out. And then if you are reporting that day, for the meeting, please send me your report by 12 p.m. or just send me an email saying, hey, it's going to get to you, just not right now. Just make sure you send me your report by email because it really helps with the minutes. And then I'm going to be starting to reach out to senators and just anybody to send me the reports. And then next, office hours are still a thing, so please make sure you are logging them. And then a reminder that office hours for next week have been canceled in preparation for finals. Then I'm holding tabling events this week on tomorrow, the 4th, in the DC from 6 to 7. Then on Thursday, in the commuter lounge from 11 to 11:30 to 12:30. There will be hot chocolate, candy canes, and Hershey Kisses. I'm looking for 1 to 3 senators each day to sit with me. And it will count as an office hour. If you would like to help with the events, please come see me after the meeting. It will be a first come, first serve to who helps me. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Jacob. Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Jacob Constant? Seeing none, thank you, Jacob. And now for your your rules and regulations of committee report, Ethan Haynes.
It is good to be back up here. I missed you all. I was thankful for you all this year. Just want you to know that. Hearts. Anyways, good evening, everyone. The Rules and Regulations Committee met on November 26th via Zoom to discuss regular business. The main item for this that will be brought to you tonight is the Young Americans for Liberty here in YAL. After working with this club for nearly a month and a half regarding this constitution, the committee voted 4 in favor of, 0 against, and 0 abstaining for recommending this constitution to the entire Senate. Before I make my next point, I would like to remind senators to leave personal feelings and emotions out of this and to focus on the constitutional requirements for RSOs. Copies of this constitution can be found at the back of the room behind Mr. John Zacco. And also, I did send that out shortly before the meeting. Therefore, I am asking for a motion that would approve Young Americans for Liberty by the entire SGA.
Is there a motion? It's been moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Young Americans for Liberty Constitution.
Can I amend my motion?
Yeah.
Pending one minor edit that is outlined in the physical document and the electronic document.
Do you accept this friendly amendment? Second.
No? Okay, great.
So it's been moved and seconded to approve the Young Americans for Liberty Constitution pending minor edits. Is there any discussion on this? Brendan Major?
Hi, Ethan. Thank you for your report. And just curious, what are the minor edits based off of?
Of course, thank you for asking, Brendan. If you flip to the second page, there is under Article 4, Section 6 was added to put in a requirement that elections shall be held no later than the second Friday in April. That is just a requirement we're having going forward, just so all clubs, organizations, including SGA, have the same exact requirements, so we're not seeing it as a double standard.
Are there any further discussion points on this? Jacob Constant?
Request a roll call vote.
It's been requested.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstention?
Aye.
Who's going to make it? Not a majority. Motion denied. Christopher Lannon?
Yeah, so, that wasn't supposed to, happen.
I'm sorry?
I did want to just note, the, history of this organization is, rooted in, everything that Westfield State stands against. It's something that doesn't, reflect the values of Horace Mann when he founded this institution 185 years ago. And I think that, given everything we've discussed this year, and doing a bit of research on it myself, I want everyone to vote the conscience of their constituents. Would your constituents be comfortable? Would they feel safe? Would they feel respected? Would they feel valued here? Personally, for me and my constituents, that is a no. So I recommend a no vote on this. And yeah, I just think you should vote your constituents' conscience. And I don't think the majority of campus would be pleased to see this pass. So I urge you to do that.
Thank you, Chris. Justin Wald?
So I just want to say, I researched the principles of Horace Mann, the 6 principles of education that he praised. And one of them is that schools shall embrace children from a variety of backgrounds. And I think this is exactly what that is. Children with a variety of backgrounds. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different opinions. And this is exactly what this club is trying to do. They're just trying to voice their opinions and act as young leaders in America. And I think there's nothing that we can do to stand in the way of that without contesting their First Amendment rights.
Daniel Courier?
Yeah, I respectfully disagree, Chris. I mean, this is a First Amendment issue. I mean, if we're gonna go graduate, and we say, I do not like this organization for what they stand for, of course I'm not gonna uphold that. I mean, we can disagree with people. That's just the way it is. So if they meet all the requirements for a club organization, then they should be a club organization. It is that simple. I would encourage everyone just to please vote with the First Amendment of the Constitution in mind and our rules and regulations in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Angel Bethea?
Well, after one, I'm confused on the words. Can someone explain, like, what this group stands for? Like, are they?
Of course, if you look under Article 2, I don't know if you have a physical copy or not, Angel, but under Article 2, it does specify their purpose under Section 1. And then at the very end of the Constitution, much like the SGA Constitution, they have an appendix for any and all definitions that they have. That was a point that was brought up in rules and regulations, just to make sure that there's clarity.
I'm still confused. Can you, like, because Chris was making it seem like they stand for things that most students would stand for. So could you elaborate more on that, Chris, yourself?
Yep, okay.
Motion for a 5-minute recess to further discuss.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor for this?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 5-minute recess is approved.
I will tell you everything. So, Reese.
Recess is over. Recess is over. Welcome back, Senate. What's it called? I'm going to start off by just sharing a few thoughts before we get into a sidetracked conversation. I'm going to ask each and every one of you to consider process over opinion. Unfortunately, we cannot consider opinions regardless if you agree or disagree with whatever ideology you might have perceived a group to be. And we're not going to infringe on someone's First Amendment. That is illegal. So, we're not going to do anything that's illegal because the Constitution literally says not to do so. That being said, I ask you all to consider about process, not opinion. That's all I'm saying. And if anyone has further opinions, they can share whatever they want to say, but I'm not going to consider it. Thank you.
Just along with that, the Young Americans for Liberty did fulfill all constitutional requirements. As I said at the beginning of my report, I've been working with the club members for the better part of the semester, and they have been nothing but welcoming to working with. They have been very active and been very much a pleasure to work with. They have made sure that this process flows and that they are doing everything constitutionally by the SGA Constitution correctly. I just want to emphasize that part first and foremost. Second off, again, in the appendix at the back of the Constitution, they are specified nonpartisan group. So if there's any concern about any ideology, they are not allowed in their capacity as a member of this club, as per their own Constitution, to participate in political activities. They are to do so as a private citizen.
Thank you, Ethan. Sarah Harrington?
I actually have a question off of the appendix A.
Yes.
At the bottom, the very bottom, the appendix is changed administration of the president based on administrative convenience and doesn't require full approval of the legislature. I assume that all of the terms that we have here are stuff that's already in the Constitution that need clarification. So I'm confused why they would need to add on to this without editing the Constitution itself, which then does require the legislature.
Thank you, Sarah. I have a point of information for that. So this appendix was something that I recommended and other people because of the fact that some of the language utilized in the, I think it's the mission, vision, there could be interpretations. So to limit the ability to misinterpret what the mission is, there is an outlined definition list that was allotted by the group into their constitution as what appendix is, and basically it's just like, should they see any revisions in the future, which they're supposed to get reapproved every so and so years, maybe they add new language, they might want to add that so people don't misinterpret stuff. That's really for your convenience. Christopher Lanham.
I just want to give a point of information. Ethan just mentioned that this is not a political organization. However, if you look to the last page on nonpartisan, subsection 3, it says, as civic-minded individuals, we encourage members to endorse, volunteer, and engage in political endeavors, but it must be done in their capacity as a private citizen. So,
what's wrong with that?
You said it's not a political organization. However, I'm just going to say, to answer Angel's point she brought up earlier, this organization is rooted in racism, and
no. That's incorrect, and that's false. It's Young Americans for Liberty. If you're going to bring that kind of information, then you have to have information to back it.
I do, and I will share those sources that I have open on my computer right now. Sexism, it's just, I recommend it.
Okay, we have a civic learning requirement here at the university, and it is required in the civic learning requirement to understand the U.S. Constitution and the state constitution. This is a free speech issue. We may not agree with this organization as individuals, but we have an obligation to follow our own rules. So I would encourage everybody to just get this thing done, vote for it, and just be over with this. Thank you.
I have a point of information for you, Chris. Private citizen, it seems that you might have a misinterpretation of what that language means, and I'll define that for you so everyone else in the group can have that definition. Private citizen is what we all are when we're not engaged in an organization. So you may do things that I may not do, I may do things that you may not do outside of this room, but when we're in this room, we maintain decorum, we follow the rules and procedures as outlined in our Constitution, and that's what we're held to a standard by. They're allowed to have any political affiliation that they choose as a private citizen. As an organization, they're not representing anybody. That's what nonpartisan means. Justin.
Thank you. So hopefully this will put this to rest once and for all. This is not a dangerous group. They have done absolutely nothing to present themselves as a dangerous group. They are not putting students in harm's way. They have all the requirements filled out. As a former parliamentarian, there is absolutely nothing we can do to deny them that doesn't send them straight to the appeals process with an easy route for approval. There is absolutely nothing standing in the way here. Just because they're affiliated with some political or not political, some outside organization doesn't mean they're bad. These are students just trying to do something. These are students that want to do something. We have this process outlined for a reason. We have a basis for denial, and according to the Rules and Regulations Committee, which approved it, they have not met any of those requirements to be denied. So I think there's just one clear answer here. And the last bit, I want to advise against a roll call vote. This isn't a witch hunt. We don't need to see who votes what. That should not matter. We're not trying to judge each other based on our votes here. So if we do vote, I just recommend against that, and that we just vote, like Dan said, and Joseph said, for the process rather than our opinions.
Aviana Lee Salters.
Hi, I just would like to bring up that literally their Wikipedia at the end of the activities section says, the organization also opposes critical race theory, bringing it back to free speech to learn about slavery the correct way. I don't think an organization that opposes critical race theory has free speech at, their mind. That's really important.
Point of information, Wikipedia can also be edited by anybody at any time.
Thank you. Are there any further? Liam Connor?
Yeah, I just want to point out, as we're just looking at the process of it, Rules and Regs approved this unanimously, and 3 former parliamentarians have looked at this and found no issue with this constitution.
Justin Wall?
Motion and debate.
It's been motioned and seconded to, was there a second?
Yes, thank you.
It's been motioned and seconded to move to end debate. Is there any discussion on this? No. All those in favor? Oh,
Chris had
I
something.
request a roll call vote.
do we have to vote on that? Is there a motion? Or is there a second to the motion? Right, okay. Sorry, guys. All those in favor to do a roll call vote? Opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? All denied. Are there any further discussion points? Seeing none, all those in favor to end debate? Opposed? Abstentions? Debate is ended. Now we're voting on Young Americans for Liberty Constitution pending minor edits. All those in favor to approve the Constitution pending minor edits?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Aye. Great. Young Americans for Liberty has been approved pending minor edits.
So it's a fun one. As always, if there's any questions, comments, or concerns, I am very happy to address any.
Thank you, Ethan. And I'm sorry, wow. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Ethan Haynes? Seeing none, thank you, Ethan. And now for your commuter council report, Barney Garcia.
All right, so that was tough. Okay, so hello everyone and good evening. My name is Barney Garcia and I am a junior here at Westfield State. I'm still very brand new here. It's just my first semester, but so far it's been quite a great welcoming. It's been a great experience to work with you all so far. And coming from a community college where I have a few years of Senate experience under my belt, it's all I can say is y'all been doing some amazing things. I'm blown back and I'm impressed, so keep it up. So yeah, enough about me. So I wanted to get into the report. It's a short one. So the Community Council met yesterday on December 2nd, 2024 over Zoom. The meeting was short as we finalized the schedule for our first event. Starting bright and early this morning at 8:30 a.m., our counselors set up shop in the commuter lounge. I'm excited to report that we had a big turnout. As of writing this report, we had about 80 people stop by with their names and signatures, and it was a great opportunity to meet our peers, hear some feedback, and give out some free food and goodies. So overall, we took the opportunity to invite some folks, participate in a commuter experience survey. As of this, we have about 20 people that have responded to that. And really, it just gave us a great opportunity to take away some feedback, several ideas and suggestions that can really help us going forward into the next semester. So all in all, there's quite a lot of excitement in our constituency group. So we're equally excited to get back to work and keep that ball rolling. That will conclude my report.
Thank you, Barney. Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Barney Garcia? Sarah Harrington?
I attended your event today. You guys did a great job. All the food was really good too. And congratulations on your first report.
Any further questions, comments, concerns for Barney? Seeing none, thank you, Barney. And is there any unfinished business? Is there a motion to open new business? Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? New business is open. Yes. Ethan Haynes is going to pass around the copies of the resolution that will be discussed in this. Just as an FYI for the group, I'm going to ask that you all consider this and be time conscious. So we are going to be ending this meeting promptly at 7:05. Thank you.
Sorry. Oh,
You don't really need to. Everyone's going to have a copy of the resolution unless you have a copy. It's fine. Just read it.
And
Yes. Are you ready? Yep. Order, please.
all right, thank you. I know that previous conversation may have been a little tough for people, and I thank everyone for taking part in the conversation. It was really productive. Good evening, Senate. Tonight I stand before you presenting SGA Resolution FY-008, introduced by myself and endorsed by fellow Rep at Large Zeke Tamarkin. Over the past week and a half, I have worked closely with Zeke and the Parking Control Board, as well as members of the SGA executive team. And tonight I will present the resolution to you. On Thursday, November 21st, the Parking Control Board met and discussed the proposed change to the rules and regulations surrounding visitor parking on campus. We discussed in length between two decisions that could and would be brought forward to SGA tonight for your endorsement. We were given the options by Joshua Hetrick to have the option for visitor parking to go back to being free as it was last year, whereas every visitor to Westfield State University would park their cars in the south lot and not have to pay for a visitor parking pass, unlike this year. The other option we discussed was the complete opposite, which was later table discussion on and having the option to add on to the $5 fee a day for visitors on campus to park in South Lot during the week and in designated commuter slots between Friday at 5 p.m. and Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. or add to a charge on that, a $50 charge for the semester with the same guidelines. As aforementioned, we voted to table this discussion in hopes of bringing it SGA tonight for a formal vote. I just want to stress the importance that this must be voted on tonight. I really implore you to make a decision tonight. We need this done. We need this submitted to Joshua by tomorrow. Zeke is up here with me to make any discussion points I may miss. And I should note another reason myself and Zeke, okay. I will note that while my name is the introductory sponsorship and Zeke is the endorsement of this proposal, we want to encourage formal and appropriate discussion. Should the discussion shift into wanting to keep visitor parking free for all visitors, pending minor edits to park in the south lot, I encourage you to amend this proposal if that is your opinion and you view the consensus of the room. I should note another reason me and Zeke decided to endorse this proposal is due to some safety concerns that still linger in the air among some students regarding parking on campus after last year. If you are unfamiliar with the situation in the fall and early spring of last academic year, there were numerous car thefts and break-ins occurring in the south lot. While many, including myself and some in this room, still share these concerns, we believe charging a fee for visitors will ensure the safety of all community members. For one, every residential student and commuter student that attends a school is already severely encouraged and advised to register their vehicle. This is because in case any emergencies or accidents happen, we need to know who owns what vehicle so we can identify the owner. We believe that the same should go for visitors in case, once again, anything should happen to anyone's vehicle. Another reason is visitors are supposed to already go to public safety to register their car. I got a further point of information from Joshua Hedrick that less than 10% of unique visitors actually do. So that's already a problem. And one final reason is that visitors throughout every point in history at the school have used our facilities just as we do. We all pay for these facilities. They use the bathrooms in traditional residence halls, amenities and entertainment facilities in different buildings such as the pool table, air hockey table. They also use the dining commons granted when someone uses them in less than impervious way. While this logic may not have made sense to me in the beginning as someone who was very
I have a point of information. I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you, I know that's rude.
Sorry.
However, you mentioned the car break-ins last year, and last semester and all that, and I just wanted to say that, these people were not students on our campus, they were not visiting the campus, they were outside people coming in doing that. So I don't wanna like put the narrative out there that these people could have been visitors or could have been people on campus because that wasn't the reality. So I just wanted to point that out for everyone, so that people didn't like feel afraid to park their cars on campus.
Yeah, so that the incidents that were happening last year were, do you wanna?
Motion to vote if in interest of time, and also so we can, because if you need this done right away. Just, and then we'll read through this.
Yeah, so it's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? Ethan?
Just in the interest of time, so we can make sure that everyone can have time to study for their upcoming finals, if you could just read through the resolution so that students can understand, then we can get this resolution passed tonight and get it on its way to Joshua.
Thank you. All right. Resolution to endorse changes to the university's parking rules and regulations as recommended by the Parking Control Board. Whereas the Parking Control Board is charged with recommending parking rules, regulations, and procedures, and whereas the Parking Control Board approved new rules and regulations at the end of the spring 2024 semester pertaining to visiting parking, and whereas the Parking Control Board wishes to gain SGA's endorsement of new updates to visitor parking, including the implementation of free visitor parking in South Lot throughout the week and $5 per day and $50 per semester visitor parking in commuter lots on the weekends, provided that all visitors are registered. Therefore, be it resolved that the Student Government Association hereby endorses the proposal revisions by the Parking Control Board to the university's parking rules and regulations. I will just say one thing, I did reach out to you all via Teams on Monday last week, and I hope you had time to connect with your constituents to equally represent them in this vote. I believe it's important that their voices are heard, so if you or your constituents have any advice or recommendation on this proposal, please let me know.
Thank you, Chris.
So moved.
Seconded. It's been moved and seconded. Yeah, we're in discussion.
We're now in discussion.
Yeah, we've been in discussion. Sarah?
I can discuss.
Yes, you
on
can
this.
have, you have some, yeah.
The only thing that I think the information, the wording in the third part, whereas all that, including the implementation of free visitor parking in South Lot throughout the weekend and $5 per day. I think that needs to be more clear instead of just saying and $5 per day, say, and the separate option of having $5 per day. Because you need to make it explicit that there is the option to do free visitor parking in South Lot or $5 per day in a different parking lot.
Just to clarify, it's and $5 per day or $50 per semester visitor parking in commuter lots on the weekend. This wording is lined up with current main lot permits for student parking right now. Part of this motion is to align visitors and students as the same parking for clarity, especially when a student has to explain to a visitor how parking works for them.
To Zeke's point, essentially free parking in South, not like actually, but like in like loose terms. And then if they want to park in commuter lot, it would be $5 a day or a $50 pass option.
No, I know, I just think that needs to be more explicitly written.
Okay, thank you. Isabella Mendez?
Yes, sir, I just have a question. So visitors who come on campus can park for free in the south lot during the week, but then on weekends, they have to pay? Is that what that's saying, or am I reading this wrong?
No, they can park in South Lot for free throughout the week, including the weekends, not just weekdays. Yeah. If they wish to park.
So maybe another word like entire week or through the weekend would be nice as well to be added to the motion.
Yes, we can split into two sentences to make it most clear.
Okay, so is there any further discussion on that? And I think that Sarah was motioning to edit it. So are you motioning to approve it pending minor edits with the language that you're asking? Okay, so it's been moved. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on that? None? All right. All in favor to approve it?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Resolution is approved. Is there a motion, resolution is amended. Is there a motion to end new business? Oh, right. I'm so sorry. Wow, we need to do a roll call on that. Jacob?
All right, respond with aye, nay, or abstain. Nicholas Palumbo.
Aye.
Anderson Delaire.
Aye.
Isabella Moniz.
Aye.
William Connor.
Aye.
Samantha Dyer. Aviana Lee Salters. Travis McLaughlin.
Aye.
Rachel Liu.
Aye.
Stella Greenberg.
Aye.
Aiden Luciano.
Aye.
Thomas McLaughlin. Jacob Trainer.
Aye.
Sophia Rubencheck.
Aye.
Melissa Kuzmeski. Raymond Croto.
Aye.
Ben James.
Aye.
Cody Hoisington.
Aye.
Bernie Garcia. SAC Representative.
Aye.
Ali Sutherland.
Aye.
Brendan Major.
Aye.
Cecilia Campbell. Troy Onoso.
Aye.
Angelina Casella.
Aye.
Laura Terry. Will Honorado. Gian Carlos Artiaga.
Aye.
Marissa Montero.
Aye.
Angel Pathay.
Abstain.
Christopher Lannon.
Abstain.
Irina Mahita.
Aye.
Ezekiel Tamarkin.
Abstain.
Dominic Zyko.
Aye.
Akila Fakos.
Aye.
Karu Sharma.
Aye.
Ethan Mollinson.
Aye.
Benny Rosas. Joseph Bonilla.
Aye.
Ethan Haynes.
Aye.
Justin Wall.
Aye.
Sarah Harrington.
Aye.
Austin Morgan.
No.
Lorraine Fernandez.
Aye.
Elizabeth Mercer.
Aye.
Me. Aye. Danny Courier.
Aye.
There's a majority. The resolution 008 has been approved. Is there a motion to end new business?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Business is closed. Announcements. Ethan Haynes.
Thank you all for your time for that Constitution student was felt heard tonight, and I cannot express how much that made the difference to him as a student of Westfield State. We have built the nest just a little bit more tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Any further? Seeing none, Nicholas Palumbo.
164 days to commencement.
Thank you, Nick. Roll call.
Nobody packed up yet. Nicholas Palumbo.
Here.
Anderson Delaire.
Here.
Isabella Moniz.
Here.
William Connor.
Here.
Samantha Dyer. Aviana Lee Salters. Travis McLaughlin.
Here.
Rachel Liu.
Here.
Stella Greenberg.
Here.
Aiden Luciano.
Here.
Thomas McLaughlin. Jacob Trainer.
Here.
Sophia Rubencheck.
Here.
Melissa Kuzmeski, Raymond Croto.
Here.
Ben James,
Hello.
Cody Whittington,
Here.
Barney Garcia,
Here.
SAC Representative,
Here.
Ali Sutherland,
Here.
Brenda Major.
Aye.
Cecilia Campbell, Troy Onoso,
Here.
Angelina Casella,
Here.
Laura Terry, Will Honorado, Gian Carlos Artiaga.
Here.
Marissa Montero, Angel Bethay, Christopher Lannon,
Here.
Irina Mahita, Ezekiel Tamarkin,
Here.
Dominic Psycho,
Here.
Akila Fakos, Guru Sharma, Ethan Mollinson, Benny Rosas.
If there's no additional business, I call to adjourn the December 3rd meeting of the Student Government Association until December 10th at 5:30 PM. Meeting is adjourned.
Ethan, our picture.